Good afternoon, YouTubers. It's TK for ReadySetFutures.com for Monday, the 26th of September, 2016. I really hope you had a great weekend. Welcome back to the markets. Welcome back to Ready Set Futures for another terrific market wrap-up. Our headlines on the day: the ES, another down day, checking back to its post-Brexit VWAP. Crude oil, trading the rumor on a Saudi production cut. Gold still hanging around its volume point of control, and copper reattempting but rejected out of its value area. So we're going to turn now to copper. Interestingly enough, if we zoom out, we can actually see where I'm talking. We just came down to the value area today and just rejected out of it. Better, more of a refined look at it is coming out of here at the hourly chart, and you can see both of the value areas and both of the profiles that we've been looking at. One since this large, more significant move down, and then here further to the right, the more near move up off of its lower trend line, its lower channel boundary. You can see that we've come up to this high volume node on the longer term volume profile. We're chopping around, and as we talked about a few times last week, as this volume point of control ends up shifting, price ends up shifting away. We saw that happen here in this bit of consolidation that we showed. We had our volume point of control move into it, and then the business was done and we moved away. You see volume building here. If price continues to trade here, we're going to get another one of those. Volume is going to build into it, and then price is going to move away. If I had an opportunity to trade this market, I'd be looking at it back down to its longer term volume weighted average price. Today's action: chop, more chop. That's just what it was today. Moving over to gold, same hourly perspective here on gold. I'm going to move this out, and I'm going to move our little price box here down and out of the way. You can see the profile. This is the profile that has been built ever since gold started to trade up into its most recent consolidation zone off of the lows back in December, the December lows, the consolidation that we saw in the first and beginning of the second quarter, and then here in this third and fourth quarter, we're starting to see a secondary consolidation period. So our look inward at the hourly shows us a longer-term volume-weighted average price of this consolidation zone, and price is trading around it. Same thing over the past couple days, really since our speech from Fed Chairman Yellen and Bank of Japan. We saw price trade into it, and then we have stayed and chopped around it. Not surprising here, given the uncertainty of the Fed, as well as even the American presidential election coming up here within the next couple months. Just some additional uncertainty in the market, but not really unexpected action from gold today, as it hung around the volume-weighted average price and traded right into it. Crude, on the other hand, crude is an interesting instrument. This was today's action in crude from the open bar up, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit further so you guys can just see the dramatic nature of today's move. Don't mind that. It was all rumor, if you want to know my opinion. So big $2 move today on crude, right off of the European open down here, and boom, we're off and away. As I mentioned in the weekly review, hopefully you guys get a chance to watch that. It's our first one. I'd appreciate if you did. Any comments, any suggestions that you had, we really appreciate it. But we did mention Saudi Arabia over the weekend, said that they were going to be offering, to cut their production by 500,000 barrels a day to try and entice some of these swing players, in particular Iran, who's not necessarily concerned with production volume, but more so market share at this point, at least from what I can tell. In any event, the market bought the rumor today. We'll see if that holds. Typically what we've seen is crude oil traders will buy the rumor and then they'll sell the news. And this has been going on for the past year or so. there hasn't been any good developments in the overall crude market. And you can see this is our volume profile from that most recent move up and our developing trend channel down. Price again trading back into its longer term volume weighted average price and sticking and trading below. It closed below. That's significant. So, this could be some hedging. This could just be a larger sentiment downward in crude. But today's action, it was all news. It was all up. It'll be interesting to see if this sustains. Similar to copper, if I were trading crude, if I did have a position on, the position would be short. And the position would be really short. I really like it off of this volume weighted average price before we break down lower here below the volume point of control. ES, the E-mini S&P 500 is a real big story on the day, at least for me. You see this big ramp here. This was since Chair Yellen and her Wednesday hawkish hold, if we want to call it that. That's what I've been calling it. You can see price spent a few days, maybe an afternoon, I should say, up here at these nosebleed heights around 2173. I'm not going to regale you guys with stories of my missed trades, but needless to say, the target on that trade for me was around 2148. In fact, overnight, we saw some additional volatility, and so it was 2146. That would have hit me in the overnight for a completed move. Again, last week I called it. You can see it. You can hear it in the daily market wrap up and the weekly wrap up. 2173 was my original price. My alternate price was 2170, and I said I wasn't going to follow it. I wasn't going to chase the market. You can see we have pulled away from that volume weighted average price that began with this move, and we traded back into the longer term volume weighted average price. Now, just so you guys know, that volume weighted average price, this is all the way back since post Brexit. That's the Brexit vote down here, and this is the aftermath. You can see since Yellen spoke, we came up and traded into that larger volume point of control, and just sold off. This is where I wanted to get in, and I wanted to get out at 2146. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win in this game. It's when I miss opportunities and they work. Those are the times that are most trying for me as a trader. But the trade worked. It's great. The system worked, and we are system driven here. So part of my system is not chasing the move, and I didn't chase the move. And so in that regard, it was a positive development, at least consolation. What our next move in this market is, I don't know. I'm still bearish in the ES. The entry point is just in question. I need to check some of my other indicators, some of the ones that I don't show you guys on a regular basis, to see if we've met our momentum targets for the next trade. But given that tonight, we have on the East Coast at 9 p.m., we have our first presidential election. And believe you me, this market knows that we have the presidential election coming up and we have these debates tonight. I'm not going to get political. I stay out of that fray, especially in these, but it does have a bearing on the markets considering how dichotomous these two candidates are. In any event, I hope you were short today. I hope you were looking short today. There really wasn't a whole lot of action on the long side, but everybody can make a trade out of anything if you scalp it short enough. So that's the wrap up for today. Just to give you guys a brief update, we had a couple postings over the weekend. We did our first weekly synopsis, our first weekly trading review, and we also did our first book report on Larry Williams' Trading Stocks and Commodities with the Insider's Secrets of the COT Report. Check those out if you'd like. Feel free to leave me a thumbs up if you like it. And don't be afraid to hit subscribe. We'll be here every day giving you our take on the day's market action and hopefully some insight into what's gonna happen tomorrow, at least the way that we see it. As always, it's your account, it's your money, and I'm TK for ReadySetFutures and ReadySetFutures.com. Have a great night, traders, and best of luck in the markets tomorrow.